Hey, Chris Belote here. In today's video, we're going to talk about the only three things that matter in digital marketing. Okay, so let's get started. A quick overview. The only three things that matter in digital marketing, the TCE formula, is what I like to call it. We're also going to go over scientific marketing, which in short is A/B testing. And then we're going to cover USP, or unique selling proposition. So let's get started. The only three things that matter in digital marketing. Pretty bold statement, but follow with me and I'm sure you will agree after you watch this. So what is TCE, or what is the TCE formula? It's very simple. Traffic, conversions, and economics. Okay? So what can traffic be? Traffic could be from Google, right? Organic or SEO efforts, paid ads. It could be from organic social media posts on your business page or on your personal profile, or it could be social media paid ads. Traffic could come from offline marketing like billboards, flyers, vehicle wraps, TV commercials, radio ads, or word of mouth, or just people doing a direct visit to your website. Any type of traffic. That's what we're talking about. So conversions. What are we talking about here? Well, what we're really talking about is, what is your cost per lead? What is your cost per customer? And what are your conversion rate percentages on both of these, right? What's your sales reps close rate? What's your lead conversion rate? And I have a quick example that I'll show you here shortly, so stick with me. And then the last part are the economics. Are we making an ROI? Is this making sense? Are we putting in $1 and getting out two or more? And if we are, awesome, let's grow and scale from there, right? So what does this look like? I want to show you an example. And let's just say we've got a company, a service-based company, and we're spending $2,000 a month on Google Ads, right? Let's say the average cost per click is $25. So with $2,000 a month, that would get us about 80 clicks, right? Now, these are all hypothetical numbers, but I'm doing it to show a point. Let's say that our website is converting these clicks to leads at a 16.66% conversion rate, right? So out of 80 clicks, we're converting 16.66%. That gets us, let's just say 13 leads, but 13.33 leads in this month. So that makes our cost per lead $150, okay? This is where this gets really important. Now, let's say our sales reps are closing 1 in 3 of these leads, or 33%. Well, that makes our cost per customer $450, right? 150 times 3. So with $2,000 in ad spend, we can get 4 customers following all of this data, right? 2,000 divided by 450 will get us roughly 4 customers. And let's say that our net profit per job is $2,000, right? Well, if we closed 4 customers at $2,000 each, that means we made $8,000 in profit in this scenario. So it cost us $2,000 to make $8,000, which is a 300% ROI. That's an amazing ROI. Now, and if you're doing the marketing yourself, then obviously you would just have the ad spend. If you're using another company, an agency, etc., then obviously it would be your ad spend plus whatever you're paying them. But really, the point I want to show here is when you're tracking all of this, you can't manage what you don't measure, right? If you don't know where your leads are coming from, or don't know how well your sales reps are doing closing leads, then you really don't know how well you're doing. So these are all important numbers to have. Now, the most important thing in all of this, what do you think that is? In all of this data, what would you say? Well, I'm going to tell you. Conversions. Okay? And what I'm talking about here in this scenario is the lead conversion rate. How well did we convert the clicks or traffic into leads? And the sales rep conversion rate. How well did the sales reps convert the leads into customers? I'm going to show you 2 different scenarios where we adjust the lead conversion rate from this first scenario and the sales conversion rate, so you can see how much it would impact the bottom line here, okay? So the first one we're going to change is the sales rep conversion rate. Everything up top is the exact same. The only thing we've changed here is that instead of the sales reps closing at 33% or 1 in 3, they're now closing at 20%, which is 1 in 5. So now cost per lead is still 150, but now we're closing 1 in 5. That means our cost per customer is 750. Okay. So with $2,000, that means that we only get 2 customers at $2,000 profit. So we still have an ROI here, which is great, 100% ROI, but can you see the difference? We went from a 300% ROI to 100% ROI just simply because our sales reps aren't closing as much. I mean, that's huge. Now we're going to take the same scenario. We're going to keep the sales rep close rate at the 1 in 3, 33%, but we're going to change the lead conversion rate to 5%. So now instead of 13 leads roughly, we now only get 4 because we didn't convert as much, right? Now this makes our cost per lead, instead of 150, our cost per lead is now 500. If we are closing 1 in 3, that means our cost per customer is 1,500. You kind of see where I'm going here, right? So with $2,000, we're only getting 1 customer, which means we spent $2,000 to make $2,000. 0% ROI. This is why this is so important. Now, I want to tell a quick story about the Wright Brothers. So back in 1903, the race was on to invent the world's first airplane that could fly. And everybody was obsessed with the engine. Who had the best, most powerful, awesomest engine ever, right? And very few people were looking at the aerodynamics or the wings and how this plane could get off the ground and support this engine. I mean, these were some of the best and most beautiful engines the world had ever seen. But there was one problem. They couldn't get the plane off the ground. And every plane was crashing because the focus was on the engine and not the plane and aerodynamics. So the Wright brothers took a different approach. While the whole world was obsessed over engines, the Wright brothers looked at the plane's aerodynamics and wings. And they focused on a plane that could glide without an engine first and then strapped an engine to it later. And what was the result? Well, we all know history. We all know what the history is here. They had a success. They were able to create the world's first airplane that could fly in the air. Now, you're thinking, Chris, what in the world does this have to do with digital marketing? Well, if you look at the engine as traffic and the plane as conversions, it has everything to do with digital marketing. If your website doesn't convert visitors into leads and your sales team doesn't convert leads into customers, it doesn't matter how much traffic you have. And I see people do this all the time. They have no idea what their cost per lead is. They have no idea what their cost per customer is. And they keep throwing money at traffic, at Google ads, at Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Pinterest ads, every kind of ad. I'm going to just keep throwing more money at the traffic and that'll get us more sales. No, you need to look at your conversions. And let's go back to those examples from before. Look at how much of a difference just in the lead conversion rate here between both of these. You go from a 0% ROI, it's the same money. 0% ROI, 300% ROI. It is you're out the exact same amount of money, but you're making money over here. Conversions are everything. If you don't get anything else from this video and you're doing digital marketing, you need to know your cost per lead and your cost per customer. Your conversion rates are a good way to track, a good thing to know as well, so you can measure your progress. Conversions are greater than traffic. All right, scientific marketing. What is scientific marketing? It's the concept of applying analytical testing and statistical methods to collect, analyze, and interpret market information. What? In short, A/B testing, okay? So this is the scientific method. And I'm not going to go into depth in this, but it's basically a digital marketing version of that, right? We're going to observe the market. We're going to come up with a hypothesis. We're going to have, a control. If we're talking about ads, we're going to have a control ad A, and then we're going to have a variable ad, which is ad B. And let's say maybe both ads are the same, but ad B has a different title. And we're going to look at the data over time and see which one performs better. And, it's going to look something like this. Half of the visitors go to A, half go to B. All right, B had a better conversion rate. All right, now B is the new control. Now let's put up another ad against it and continuously improve over time. And so I've got an example here. I used to work with a security camera company, and everybody in the niche was focusing on, with their ads, was focusing on deterring theft, improving safety, improving, anything that the benefits of cameras, right? Well, when in talking with customers, we found that a lot of customers were curious and wanted to know about viewing the cameras on their phones. And we're like, okay, let's put up a Google ad for that and see how it does. It was our variable ad against our control, which we'd always, were testing on deterring theft and improving safety. It blew it out of the water. We were like, oh my gosh. So we ran more ads against it. To this day, it never got beat. People wanted to know more about viewing cameras on their phone than they did. I mean, it's like they already knew that the cameras would help deter theft and improve safety. They were mostly interested in watching the cameras on their phone. It was amazing, but we got that from doing A/B testing. When we wrapped our trucks, what do you think we wrapped them? The verbiage we put on there. We talked about viewing cameras on your phone. Oh, you got an Android? No problem. iPhone? No problem. Do you want to view live and view recorded playback and do everything from your phone? No problem. It's super easy to use software, everything that everybody wanted, and it tremendously helped this company out. So the last area I want to talk about here that ties in with all of this is a USP, or a unique selling proposition. What is this? Well, it's really what makes you different than your competition, and it's something that the consumer wants. And we're not talking about better service or better pricing, right? We're talking about something the consumer wants and that your brand does well. That's the winner here. If it's something your competitor does well and it's the consumer wants, that's not good for you. Or if it's something that you think they want, I see this problem all the time. What you think the customer needs versus what they want. You need to actively listen to your customer and give them what they want. And if you can do something that your competition won't do, your sales rep conversion rates are going to go through the roof. It's going to positively impact your bottom line. So what can you offer that the consumer wants and your competitors won't do? This is one of the toughest questions you will work on as a business owner. And I have a few examples. Some are amazing, some are like no-brainers, and some are let's just go through it. So CarMax, when they first started, their whole deal was, nobody likes to deal with a used car salesman, right? Nobody wants to, oh gosh, this guy's coming up to me in the parking lot. He's going to try to sell me a car. Now, the stereotype of a used car salesman has been around since we've had car dealerships. What CarMax did is they removed that. They knew the consumer didn't like that, and they did a no-haggle price, which the price was better than what you could see on Kelley Blue Book. And the rest is history. CarMax is massive now because of this. That's all they did to make themselves unique. There's this company, Ship a Car Direct. I was in a marketing group with them years ago, but the owner had mentioned that everybody in this niche is doing the same thing. The only thing that they're going to compete on is price. And you all know what happens when you compete on price. Nobody wins. So what they did is they said, well, let's go talk to our sales reps and our customer service, and see what they hear about a lot. And one thing they heard about a lot was if people were worried if their car they purchased was going to get damaged in transit. So what they did is they came up with a damage-free guarantee, or we help pay. And it's genius because none of their competition wanted to do it. And what they do is they pay the deductible for the insurance. And after he did this for about a year or two, he came back and did an overview, and he said his sales skyrocketed. And the number of claims that he had to pay was very minimal, like 2 or 3 claims, but his sales went up like 300, 400%. I mean, that is a USP right there. The last USP I have is from Domino's. Now, obviously, they don't have this USP anymore for obvious reasons, which I'll go into, but it was one of the best USPs of all time. It was fresh hot pizza delivered in 30 minutes or it's free. Now, what they hit here is what people want, a fresh hot pizza delivered in 30 minutes, which, awesome. I'm going to get a time. They have a time factor in there. And then they have an or it's free, a negative, basically something that negatively affects them if they don't make their promise. And people ate this up. Now, the reason Domino's doesn't do this anymore is because I believe one of their employees got in a wreck trying to get a pizza to a customer in time. And ever since then, they stopped that. But outside of that, this is one of the best USPs ever. So, be thinking about how you can separate your company from your competition, and not on price or better service. I mean, everybody says that. Really think about it. Talk to your customers. Listen to them. What do they want? And what is something you can do that your competition won't do? Can you do let's say maybe your niche has a 1-year warranty. Could you do a lifetime warranty? And let's say your competition's not going to do that. And maybe you really don't want to do it either. But if you're the only company in town doing it, guess who's going to get the business? If it's between you, lifetime warranty, and a competitor 1-year warranty, and let's say y'all are offering the same product, same price, everything, you're going to get the business. So you need to look into that, because that's going to help with your conversion rates. That's going to help all areas of your business. If you have questions or would like to see other videos like this, please drop a comment below. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be alerted when I post more content. And we'll see you on the next video. Thanks.